Welcome back. Now, the World Bank expects Democratic Republic of Congo's economy to average 5% growth in 2017 and 2018, compared with 2.7% in 2016, thanks to stronger commodity prices and expanding agriculture and services sectors. Congo, Africa's top copper producer, has seen its economy battered by low commodity prices over the past 2 years, with its franc currency losing nearly 50% of its value last year. Exotix Partners, global research analyst with headquarters in London, is recommending a buy in Umeme, Uganda's #1 electricity distributor, a hold on Kenya Electricity Generating Limited, and has downgraded Kenya Power and Lightning Company to hold. On its latest report on East Africa utilities, Exotix gave outlook for the utility sector in 2017 and highlighted where investment opportunities may lie within the listed space. I'm being joined by the author of this report, an equity analyst with Exotix Partners, Silher Rasugu, joining us from Kenya. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for being part of this program, Silher.
Thank you for having me.
Now, give us a general sense of what the East African utility sector performance is like in 2016.
So the utility sector performance from an industry perspective has been quite positive. For starters, we've seen economies within East Africa move from an energy deficiency to an energy surplus. So most countries, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda actually have an energy surplus. So they have a reserve on their electricity supply, which is quite positive. However, when we look at the individual companies, there are some challenges, particularly with inefficiency in Kenya Power. But Umeme ideally stands out as a good buy because it's more efficient and it has a commercial business model to the business of power distribution in Uganda.
Now, what you've talked about some of the challenges. Now, what are the opportunities there?
So opportunities lie across both from power generation, which is what Kengen does, to the distribution side. And when you look at the market, you realize that it's very under-electrified. So the national electrification rate, for example, in a country like Uganda is only 16%. And so that's a huge opportunity to increase customer numbers. So we're looking at retail connections to domestic customers, as well as industrial connections to manufacturers and other productive sectors of the economy. And so by having enough power supply and a reserve margin, the regulators can now focus their efforts on reducing the price through the regulated tariff and attracting industrial productivity into the country, and overall improving and increasing the electrification rates in these East African economies. I believe that's really where the opportunity lies within the utility sector.
Right. You did mention why you are recommending a buy for Uganda's Umeme, perhaps because of the positive of things they have done. Now, you are recommending a downgrade on Kenya's Power and Lightning Company to hold. Why is that so?
So we still like the company. We believe the environment in Kenya offers an opportunity to scale up the business. However, the reason we downgraded it is for two main concerns. The first being inefficiency. So when we look at system losses in Kenya, they're at about 19.4% to 20.4%, which is quite high, both on a relative scale and also when you look at it individually. And energy losses have an economic impact on Kenya Power, which risks the amount of money they can actually return to equity investors or shareholders. The second reason we have is from a balance sheet perspective, the company is a bit over-leveraged. And by this, we mean we're looking at a debt to equity, net debt to capitalization at 68%. The ceiling that we have for utility companies is 70%. And so if you look at their plans over the next few years to increase capital expenditure, and this capital expenditure is financed by more debt coming onto their balance sheet, then there is concern that this balance sheet is well over-leveraged and could lead to subsequent raising of equity capital, perhaps through a rights issue, which would be dilutive for investors owning the stock right now.
All right, Silha, we will have to leave this conversation here. And I'm sure we will be talking more about the utility sector there in East Africa. Thank you very much for your time, Silha Rasugu, joining us there from Kenya. Now let's end the show in Nigeria's Niger Delta region, where the move by Nigerian government to end oil theft is fueling tensions. Community leaders and residents say the move risks pushing hundreds of youth made redundant into the arms of militant groups attacking oil facilities to escape poverty.
It's midnight in the swamps of Nigeria's Niger Delta and time for young men to begin their work refining crude oil. Big flames and thick smoke rise from the boiling oil inside large metal drums sunk into holes in the ground. The fire gets more fierce as oil is added to the pot. The workers carry on for over 3 hours and finish before dawn, when they'll abandon their bush refinery work to avoid getting caught. They say they can make up to 1 million naira from one night, and if their illegal business is shut down, they might end up as criminals or militants.
The refinery is the only job I can find to feed my family, even though it is dangerous. We have no choice anymore, so the crude is ours, and I just have to earn some living and to solve my problems. The money we make depends on the size of the drum. There are pots you can use about 300,000 naira to construct, and such a drum can give you like 200 liters, and sometimes we sell 500,000 naira and even 1 million naira per night.
150 per night.
Authorities have been holding talks for more than 6 months to end the oil theft, but community leaders and residents say the peace talks will go nowhere unless authorities legalize the artisan industry, feeding tens of thousands and helping Nigeria to cut a fuel import bill costing some $6 billion annually. In this small part of the southern region alone, the military has shut down more than 50 mini refineries in recent weeks, making hundreds of youth jobless.
We don't have anything from the government. We don't have no pipe-borne water, no electricity, toilets, none, every toilet facility, none, and we are just left like that. And so, in order to survive this life, this dear life the Lord has given us, my youths, act on that. The families of all these young ones are able to survive a bit.
Unemployment in the swamps has shot up as oil majors coping with low oil prices have fired hundreds of workers in the past few months.
And that's it on the program. Thank you very much for watching. Have a beautiful weekend.